Now, let me just deal with some misunderstanding about breathing and to do with speaking. You've probably heard some nonsense, and you've been told that what you ought to do is breathe from right down here in the diaphragm. Rubbish. Get rid of it. Because you're going to look strange. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andy Harrington, and today, this is not going to work. This is ridiculous, okay? Now, I know that calm when you're breathing before you go on. There's a place for that. But the issue is what you're doing when you're actually on the stage. You only need enough air in your lungs to reach the next comma or the full stop that's coming. But it presupposes that there is a comma and or a full stop coming. Does that make sense? Because when you go into foveal and get stressed, because that's what foveal vision does, then what will happen is your breathing will change. It has to. Now, again, a misnomer about this, because people think that, okay, what that means is I breathe shallow. Maybe. Actually, what happens is you begin an irregular breathing pattern. Irregular means it's just not flowing as it should. But punctuation in the message is there because it makes your air flow correctly. Does that make sense? That's the author. The author of a message says, breathe here. So a pause is a small pause, obviously, is a comma, and a larger pause is a full stop. And I know when a speaker is stressed because you have these things called tells, where your physicality tells the professional that you're stressed. Here's a couple of examples. Pausing mid-word. As in, the person speaks and the air runs out in the middle of a word. I see that a lot. Or they just pause in a completely inappropriate place where a comma or a full stop doesn't exist. So that's when I know the person's stressed. Now, when you have no full stops, and by the way, pauses for long full stops are really important. Why? Why is pausing important? Because the audience get a chance to go into their own head and make a picture of what you said and or talk to themselves. In essence, they get a chance to relate your message to their lives or situation. But when you don't pause, they can't do that. Most of the transformation, by the way, and most of the great teaching, and most of the connections are made when you're not talking. So if you don't pause, they can't make the neuro connections, which means everything is short-term memory. Not cool. So, inappropriate pauses, and the other sound that we'll hear is one that sounds a bit like this. So when the person speaks, they speak da-da-da-da, and you'll do this more on video, I promise you. On video, go back and watch your videos, you go da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Guarantee it. I even catch myself doing it sometimes. Something about video makes you go into your head too much. You become self-conscious, and you less flow. Because you don't pause as much. And so we're going to hear da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. And the clucking sound is because you didn't have a full stop. I have no issue with you speaking fast. You can still speak fast and have full stops. Right? I'm not saying there's just a one rhythm thing. Far from it. Sometimes we're fast, sometimes we're slow, sometimes we're in the middle. But it still has to have pauses. So you can be speaking fast like this, getting like intense, but there's still going to have to be a stop at some point. And then you continue on even faster. Does that make sense? Yes or no, guys? Yes. There still has to be pauses. I'm not talking about a one-off rhythm. You can still speak with passion, but there has to be pauses. Raise your hand if you understand. Otherwise, we're here. Because what happens is the mouth becomes dry. Because swallowing is also important. When you have a full stop, the pause allows you enough time to take a little small swallow as well. Because otherwise, your throat's going to get dry and it will get raw here as well. So people say to me, how do you speak for 4 days? Well, what's the difficulty? Oh, you have loads of glass of water. Oh, no, I don't have water either. Don't need water. Got saliva. Don't need it. Because how do you protect your voice? I don't need to protect my voice. I'm not pushing my voice. Does that make sense? Unless it's like an event like Power to Achieve, where sometimes we're like, whoa, whatever, and we're getting really pied, then there's going to be some water there. But I shouldn't need water naturally, right? When I'm just speaking. It shouldn't be running out of lubrication, okay?